Job Hunting
101.
Providing you with the tools you need in your job search. Job Hunting
101.
Thank you for tuning in to Job Hunting 101 series. My name is Mia Taylor and I am the Career Development Trainer with Workforce Tampa. Today we're going to be talking about targeting your employment transition. I'm joined here today by Christy and Amy. If you don't mind, please introduce yourselves.
Sure. I'm Christy Hattersley. I am the Director of Recruitment and Business Development for IQPC Exchange. We're actually an international events company. We run conferences exclusively for C-level executives in the Fortune 1000. So we have a number of positions in the company, from marketing to operations to sales. I've actually been in recruitment quite briefly, actually. I was a sales director who actually did my own recruitment for a while, and was just appointed Director of Recruitment about 2 months ago.
Okay.
Hi, and I'm Amy Knight with Ultimate Staffing Services, part of Roth Staffing, and have been a business solutions specialist for just over a year now.
Okay.
Our company specializes in temp to perm, as well as direct hire and temp only.
Okay, so I would like to start off today by talking about the many ways that the workplace is changing. So if job seekers were to ask themselves if they were ready for all the changes that are happening, do you think that's a valid question that they should be asking themselves?
I think so. I mean, I think it's a really broad question. Are you ready? I think when you're actually looking to find a job, there's a lot of different things that you need to do. And I think the landscape of how to find a job has changed so much. I think keeping up with those trends is incredibly important right now. And knowing about the resources that are out there, like recruitment and staffing agencies.
Yeah, absolutely. Job hunting has changed tremendously just over the past couple of years. It used to be go hand deliver your resume, face-to-face interaction, and now a lot of things have gone electronic only. So you need to be able to familiarize yourself and learn your way around a computer and the internet and networking. Absolutely.
That's one of the things that I talk about in my workshops, is that now you have to have basic computer skills just to be out there looking for a job and to fill out those job applications. So that's one way that the workplace is definitely changing with all of the technology that's involved.
Yeah, I think also for job seekers, they really need to start to become salespeople now. Whereas before they could kind of get by on being passive and send a note with a cover letter over. Now they need to be a little bit more proactive in finding those resources and finding those jobs and applying to them and using, again, all of the different tools that they have out there.
Okay.
And to chime in with Christy, I encourage, like she said, to be more of a sales and be proactive. Follow-up is really important. So if you're only submitting your resume and application for consideration, follow up with a phone call. See if you can get the hiring manager on the phone. You know, hi, just wanted to interrupt your day, introduce myself, and make sure you got my resume. I'm really interested in this position.
Okay. When we talk about the changes, transitioning in your employment, a lot of people are afraid of change. They hear change and they think, what does that mean? Okay, it could mean, what, like we said, the technology, but also there are different things. There may be education. Okay, there may be certifications out there that maybe they don't have. Can you talk a little bit about some of the other things besides the technology that they may need to change?
I think in terms of change, I want to go to the education piece that you talked about a little bit. I think experience still speaks louder than education, especially in a company like ours where we hire a lot of salespeople, we hire marketing people, production people. It's really about the experience that you have. One of the questions we ask a lot is, you know, generally for these positions, we require a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
Why should we make that exception for you? And a lot of times they've got great experience, or they have something in their past that points to why they'd be successful in this type of a position. So I think while there is change, I think they need to, and I think education absolutely is important. I think for those that may not have that yet, they really need to look to their experience and see where that fits and what will really work for them in the next position that they take.
Okay. What about networking? When it comes to transitioning in your career, what would you say to our viewers about the power of networking?
Networking is huge. It can be not just what you're applying for, but who you know and who they know. the most important thing, start networking before it's, before that time needs to come,
Right.
and let everybody know, hey, I'm back out on the job market. I'm interested in either changing my career or this is what I'm interested in. But the more feelers you can get out in the community, the better. And maybe if you're changing careers, a good thing to do would be talk to somebody who's in that field. Do they like their job? Are they passionate? And what can you kind of transition your resume to tailor that experience?
Okay.
Yeah, I think networking, never underestimate the power of it. You just never know who you're going to run into or who you're going to meet or what you're going to do. I think one of the best pieces of advice that I got way back when I was in college was never turn down an opportunity. Take whatever opportunity really presents itself. So whether that be going to networking groups, seeking them out, going to job fairs or career fairs so that you can actually be in front of those people, talking to your friends, uncles, family members, who may know something that you don't know. And just putting yourself out there. I think it's nothing is ever going to change the value of a human relationship. I mean, as much as we'd like social media and all of that to take its place, nothing is ever going to replace that. So you can, you can see them and feel them and be able to talk to them and maybe get some advice as well.
Okay. Yep. Another thing, a lot of the job seekers who come into our workshops, they may be going through a series of emotions. Okay, they may have just recently lost their job for various reasons, and we talk to them about their emotions and how it affects their attitude. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, attitude is huge. I mean, anything from the infant stages of job hunting to the final, the third or final stage of the interview process. You want to make sure that you're representing yourself to the best of your capability, positive attitude. You are your own cheerleader, so to speak.
Right.
So smile, positivity, because if you're a negative Nancy, that can be reflected. So upbeat personality, good attitude, confidence, and a good smile. Always bring a smile.
Yeah, I think some advice that we can really give is you may have gone through some really tough stuff, but you need to be able to transform that into a positive. So if something has happened in your life where you've lost your job, it's, I lost my job, but I think it was actually the right timing, because it's offered me the opportunity to do this, or it's offered me the opportunity to pursue something that I actually want to do or like to do or find a new company that can do this, and this. I think spinning that and keeping that positive attitude is extremely important. Especially when I'm on the phone with a recruit and they're trying to tell me, well, why'd you leave this job? If you give me the whole negative, we look for that. I mean, we actually do pick out from that, whether what the negatives were. And sometimes that can really work against you.
I know in the workshops, a lot of people are surprised when I say attitude, especially a bad attitude, can be a huge barrier when it comes to looking for a job and then finding a job. So I agree 100%. A good attitude goes a long way. Sometimes, do you think that sometimes a good attitude may not outweigh, but maybe extremely important if the potential employee doesn't have the skills that the employer is looking for?
I think so, absolutely. I mean, we had, I hire for a lot of salespeople, so we look, obviously personality is extremely important in salespeople. And we had somebody who came in just a week ago. She didn't have the experience, she didn't have the education, but she had the drive and she had the hunger and she had the excitement about the company, and that alone got her the second interview.
Right.
Those candidates sometimes can become your best salespeople because they've bought into the company and they've bought into the dream, so to speak, if you will. So yeah, no, absolutely, attitude can completely turn an interview around, I think.
Okay. Also, finding a job, and I say this a lot, finding a job is a job. Okay, and there are a lot of things that are involved in looking for a job. Some of them can be attending workshops, seminars. What other things that maybe your offices offer to job seekers?
Well, we check our website. I mean, we do post things there. Thorough follow-up, like I suggested earlier, is quite important. And go out there and just canvass the area. Look on the company's websites, not only on social media sites, but go to your dream company, see if they're hiring, and inquire about that. Job fairs are another good source. Interview prep. See if you can have an extra set of eyes review your resume. Ask those questions that you're stumbling over during the interview. You know, there's some tricky questions out there, and you want to make sure that you're ready and you're prepared.
Absolutely. And you guys actually, I think Workforce Alliance actually offers some really great services to help them prepare for interviews, prepare for resume writing. At the career fair, I was at a career fair recently where they actually had a booth set up, and I don't know whether it was Workforce Alliance, but somebody had a booth set up, and they were actually reviewing resumes of the people who were there at the career fair, and you know, giving them advice, and would sit down with each person. So to find those resources that can help you, you know. You can always learn, I think. I think not everybody's the perfect candidate all the time. So no matter how great you interview or how great you think your resume is, I think everybody could use just, you know, a second opinion or another eye.
And we do offer those workshops, resume development, also interviewing skills, and those basic computer skills that you definitely need now to even do your job searching. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about reinventing yourself when you're talking about transitioning careers. We talked a little bit about education. That may be something that potential employees or job seekers can do. They can look to see if there's something missing as far as their education or their credentials are concerned. What do you think about transitioning as far as education is concerned, as far as gaining those certifications? Do you think that that's necessary to reinvent yourself?
I don't think so necessarily.
Not necessarily. If you don't have the means to do so, some of those certifications do cost quite a bit of money, and then licensing and things of that nature. So if it's something you want to aspire to achieve, great. It's not necessarily an end-all, be-all.
Yeah, I think if you're reinventing yourself, a lot of the time, something my brother said to me way back, right after college, I was trying to get a job in sales, it was international sales. I had no international, I had some international experience, and then it required some writing experience, but it required, and I didn't have any of that. And I said to my brother, I was like, I would really like this job, but I'm not even going to apply. And he said, why not? He goes, you need to go for something that's bigger than yourself. You need to go for something. You may not have all of those credentials, but if you can spin whatever you do have into what they're looking for, they're going to see that drive. You're going to be able to reinvent yourself and find. I was working for a nonprofit. International sales was like not even on my radar, and I got the job. So I mean, if you can actually spend whatever experience you do have into that positive, employers are going to see that and just take some of those pieces. You know, for instance, if you've never done sales before, one thing we look for is sports. If you've done sports in the past, that means you're competitive. It means you have that drive. So maybe you've worked at a hotel, maybe you've been a server or something like that. But if you have sports in your background, that might actually make me pick up your resume and say, they're a competitive person. Maybe they'd be good at this. So it's really looking at what you've done, and I don't think that further education, while it's good to have, I don't think it's absolutely necessary to reinvent yourself.
Okay, what about a lot of job seekers forget about their passions and the things that they love to do. When they think in terms of jobs and careers, they think about the skills that they have in the workplace, but they sometimes forget about the things that they're actually good at outside of the workplace. What do you think about maybe job seekers honing in on those types of things, their passions and things like that, in order to create some sort of career for themselves?
Sure. I mean, if you're passionate about something, we're all passionate about something, then yeah, definitely hone in on those skills. Maybe you have a green thumb and you decide, I want to be, you know, a professional landscape artist or a gardener, something like that. If you're very passionate about something in particular and you want to develop your own business and the tools to maybe be a successful business owner, that would be terrific. Or know somebody, and that's the part of that networking as well.
Yes.
Okay. What are some of the questions that you actually ask them to kind of narrow down where their passions are and whether they'd actually be a fit for the positions that you're looking for? I mean, do you actually ask them, like, what are your passions? What are your
a good question I like
your
to ask
hobbies?
is,
Anything like that?
Sure. It's very important, you know, where do you anticipate yourself being in 5 years from now? If I'm your employer, I feel that's a necessary question. Are you going to be with my company? Are you looking to take my position? You know, there's several different entities and hidden questions in that agenda. And then as far as hobbies and passions go, competitive sports, maybe they're more of a, that eagerness to grow and really excel in a certain area where they can have that leadership potential, or maybe they like quiet nights, indoors watching a movie, and they're more introverted. Where are they going to fit? Where are they going to be a good asset for my organization, in what department, so forth and so on,
Okay. And a lot of times job seekers also forget about volunteering. Through volunteering, you can gain so many skills and experience, and that's something that I do tell the customers in the workshops. Volunteer. Especially if you're looking for a change, that transition in your employment. Maybe you have to switch directions and go a different way. One way to start to gain those skills and experience is to volunteer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's super important, and to be involved in your community, because it serves two purposes. Number one, you get to learn some new skills and things that maybe you didn't have before, and number two, you get to network with a whole new subset of people that maybe you wouldn't have had you not taken that opportunity.
Yes, and a lot of times with the volunteering, a lot of companies will go out and volunteer as a whole and take a whole day off, go take care of the community, and you can network with some of those decision makers. Hey, what company are you with? Well, no, I'm just giving back, and really strike up a conversation. Well, you know what? Here's a business card. Maybe give me a call. Wishful thinking, but maybe not. A lot of times you never know, and that those opportunities really present themselves out of nowhere.
Definitely.
When we talk about networking, who should be in your network? What type of people, or where should these people be coming from who are actually in your network?
I think it depends on where your interests are. Okay. I think if you're looking for something that is international, you should be joining some of those international networking groups. I think if you're looking for something in sports management, you should be joining some of those sports management networking groups or attending some of their functions. I think if you're looking for, more of like literary or looking to be a journalist or a writer, there's other groups there. I mean, today there's meetup groups, there's LinkedIn groups that you can join. There are associations in and around the Tampa area that you can definitely go and Google. And I would just even put in like associations with your interests to see what pops up, and then see if they have a meeting, or call their organizer and say, hey, I'd like to
Or if they don't have an organizer, become the organizer.
Well, exactly.
Somebody else will have the same interest as you.
Definitely.
Lots of smaller networking professionals all around the Tampa area. Depending on what side of town you are. It could be downtown, Brandon, South Tampa, and just kind of get involved. Maybe start off small if you're new to networking, and then put the feelers out, and who else? Oh, you're in that community? How do I become involved? And networking groups love to grow. So they'll invite you in as a guest, and there you go.
But it doesn't all have to be dry either. You don't have to go to, the exact thing that you want to do, go to all of them. I mean, you could join a running club and maybe find people there that have the same interests, or go to the gym, or do something, as long as you're putting yourself out there, you'd absolutely be able to find people that you'd have common interests with, and may have some leads as to where you should go to find some new employment opportunities.
Okay, when we're talking about transitioning, all of the change that you have to do in a new career, or out there searching for jobs, let's talk about transferable skills, okay? Because what if I have all of these skills and experience in one industry, okay, but I may need to venture out to another industry? How can I transfer those skills, or have those skills appear to be transferable when I'm out there searching for a job and doing my resume?
It's an interesting one.
If you have leadership capabilities, and that is outlined on your resume, and that's something that can transition over. I'm a leader, I'm a management level, people can work under me. It doesn't really, of course, industry matters, and you can gain the experience once you get your foot in the door, but that would be a transferable skill.
Okay. I think a lot of job seekers don't realize that. I had one person come in and say, I was a manager, but it was at a fast food restaurant. but I really want to get into corporate management. And I told them, you have the skills. You have been in management. It doesn't matter particularly what industry, because some of those skills can definitely transfer to other industries. Okay. We talked a lot about education and training. We also talked about some of the training that we offer at Tampa Bay Workforce, as far as building your resume, building your interviewing skills, and also breaking barriers. We talked about attitude being one of those barriers in the transition. Can you think of any other barriers that may prevent job seekers from finding that perfect job for them?
I think one of the biggest barriers that they have, and I'm trying to think of the right word for it, but those that are more introverted and have that fear of failure, I think is one of the biggest barriers that they have. A lot of people think, well, I can't get this job, or I've been out of work for 2 years, so I don't think that I'm going to be able to find anything. So they start to give up a little bit of hope, and that's partially attitude, but it's also an outlook that you have to have. I mean, this is, if you need employment, you need to transform your thinking into thinking, okay, these are the steps I need to take to move forward, and not have fear. Like, get fear out of your head. Don't be scared to put yourself out there.
Okay.
Image is a lot too. When you're going for an interview, remember, when in doubt, conservative is best.
Okay.
Have a full suit. Even if you don't have a full suit, no matter what job you're applying for, always dress to impress. The interview time is where your potential employer is going to see the best that you look. So you want to make sure that you clean appearance, firm handshake, eye contact. That goes back to that attitude.
Yep,
you want to convey confidence, not arrogance, but confidence is very important. So look in the mirror, take a picture of yourself, ask a family member for tips or suggestions, about attire, because a lot of that can be a make it or break it.
First impressions.
Absolutely.
As soon as they see you, first impressions, first 10 seconds.
Yep.
They're going to be, it's human nature. It's not anything new. When you first meet somebody, you want to impress them. My father always said, walk into the place like you own it. Every single time. He's like, walk into every interview you go into like you own the place.
A lot of job seekers, they get discouraged. So they're listening to us, they're revamping their resume, they're practicing the interviewing skills, but they become impatient. And what kind of tips can you offer them as far as a job seeker they've been out there for weeks and for months and even sometimes years, and they have to think of those ways, okay, what can I change so that I can become relevant again in my job searching?
Well, sometimes, and I know it's when you're out there in the community and you're unemployed and you feel down on your luck, but then you can use this time to just turn it into a positive light. Use this time off as time with your family, something that you really enjoy doing. Start a garden, family photos that you never had time for, the scrapbooking, just kind of reinvent yourself to be the person. Just consider this a transition. You're going to get back out there, but when you get discouraged, use this as a positive time to spend it with those other individuals and do things you never had time for.
I think changing it up too every now and then. So if you've been out there and you're doing the same thing and you've been doing everything everybody's been telling you to do, you've been writing your resume the way everybody's been telling you to, you probably got stuck in a rut somewhere and you've probably been doing the same thing over and over and over again. So having the opportunity to take a step back or maybe go to somebody else for advice, and then open up and think about, is this what I really want to do? Am I going after the jobs that I'm actually really interested in? Because maybe you're going just to get a job, and so you're sitting in front of them, and it comes across that way in an interview. Like, I just want a job, anything that will pay me right now. So step back and say, is this what I want to do? And I think you'd be surprised if you make a few changes that the results will differ as well.
Okay, and also they can look ahead to the future. Okay, they may feel down on their luck now, but they can remember that, in the future, I can be successful. Maybe if I just change things, change my resume, sometimes just that small change can mean such a big difference in and looking for a job.
Absolutely.
Okay. I would like to talk about the resume. When it comes to maybe job seekers, they've been in a certain industry, they're changing industries or changing jobs, or maybe they've been unemployed for a while. What can they look at changing as far as their resume is concerned?
Well, I think I was just at the career fair last week, and there were a lot of people who are transitioning. Maybe they were teachers before, and now they're looking to get into a sales career, or maybe they've been in the hospitality field, and now they want to get into IT, whatever that may be. I think for those that are changing, they need to remember why they're changing. There's got to be something in their experience, whether it be what they used to do, or even what they're doing outside of work. Maybe they're in associations. Maybe they got a certification outside of it. Maybe there's something else in their background. And I think it's really important to highlight those on your resume so that when you say I'm changing careers, I don't look at your resume and say, well, you've been a teacher for 20 years,
right,
and everything on your resume points to you teaching. What is making you make that change now? I really like to see those kind of triggers that tell me why you're looking to change. It's your passion, it's your interest. You've always wanted to do this. You've never had the opportunity, whatever that might be.
Okay.
And to hone in on those skills, like Christy was saying, if that's something you're really passionate about, let that be known. Maybe up top, the first page, my objective. I have 22 years of teaching under my belt, but now I'm looking IT. You know, I just got my certification from ITT Tech. I'm now a graduate or whatever school it may be, and I want to utilize my education, my training, and really put my skills into something I'm very focused and eager about. And let that be known to everybody who you're talking to, and build your resume. The more sets of eyes that can review it, the better. Always spell check, please. Please always spell check your resume. It's very important. And your contact info. You want to make sure that whoever is looking at your resume can call you or email you. So that's pretty important information as well.
Yeah, and your cover letter as well. I think that's another place to really highlight why you're changing.
And you can
careers.
have different resumes and different cover letters depending on what industry or department or career that you're really going for. You know, if it's that IT job, have a cover letter that's tailored specifically for that, or vice versa, teaching. Cover letter like that. And if you need tips and suggestions, Tampa Bay Workforce does a great job with services such as that.
Okay. Well, thank you. That's all the time that we have for today. I want to thank both of you for joining us. And viewers, I hope that you found this information to be very helpful. Again, my name is Mia Taylor, and my guests are Amy and Christy. And I want to thank you both for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mia.
The Tampa Bay Workforce Alliance and WorkNet Pinellas offer workforce solutions designed to improve your business.
I've really valued my relationship with WorkNet Pinellas and have been instrumental in keeping us informed with new educational trends.
We've really seen our employees grow in their own personal development. It has not only exceeded Power Design's expectations, but our employees' expectations as well.
To learn more about our no-cost programs and services, visit workforcetampa.com or worknetpinellas.org.
I'm a skater.
I like to play hockey with my friends.
I'm on the robotics team.
I'm a singer.
I'm a trumpet player. I play baseball, soccer, basketball. I am on a swim team.
In track, I run the 2-mile. I'm student council vice president.
I do a lot of stuff outside of Scouts.
I'm a scout.
I am a scout.
I'm a scout.
I am a scout.
Adventures to remember. Words to live by.
He is a scout!